ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you guys my thought process, creative process, my mind process of what's kind of going on whenever I'm using Quanta. And really this can honestly be applicable to any type of granular synthesizer, Quanta 2 especially, because I know Quanta 2 dropped shortly after I used Quanta. But of course this will be in my opinion. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we have to open up Quanta, right? Or whatever your granular synthesizer of choice. Some people have Quanta 2. I know FL Studio has, what is it? I think it's called Fruity Grains or something. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, so right under the sampler, if you have stock FL Studio Fruity Granulizer, I used to use Fruity Granulizer, especially since they made the update where you can kind of see a little bit more of a visualization. It actually comes in really handy. But I'm gonna be using Quanta just because, like, you know, I paid for it, so I'm gonna use it, right? So again, this can really be used and applicable to any type of granulizer. So essentially what I like to do, what I find that works best for me, I like to find a sample that's really like thick. So let me elaborate. You know, say for example, you know, right here you can see the transients and it's a little bit thick, but of course the transient, you know, tapers off. And what I've noticed, it's a little bit harder to really turn that into the type of granular music I like to make. So let me show you guys an example. So of course I'm gonna drop that in there, right? Minimize that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and send a MIDI of this, loop it, boom, just to send a MIDI note. So it's just gonna, once I mute, for Quanta at least, it has oscillators, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn those off. I don't really use them at all, really. Turn up the volume and this and that. So now if I were to hit play, it's just playing just that one note. I want to keep this simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Kiss, okay? So what I've realized with whenever it comes to more transient stuff like this, where the transient kind of tapers off, it's a little bit more difficult for me to find a grain that I really like and want to loop. So a lot of times I'll kind of just play with it. You know, I turn it up, especially in Quanta, it can tend to be very quiet. I mean, this one sounds pretty dope. Because I would honestly probably just record this out. So I would send this to a track, you know, send this, and then if you're on FL Studio, Control E, pops up Edison, right? I send this to the bottom because sometimes, a lot of the times, probably 99.9% of the time, I'll have effects on it. You know, if you guys watch my channel, you guys will know. So, and honestly, you can just hit record. I'll do on play. That way I can have a marker of when the beat starts. So especially because whenever I'm recording through, I like to try to move the marker to where it's keeping it somewhat in time. It has somewhat still of a musical element. So whenever I'm recording in, I can chop it up and it's a little less of a headache chopping things up to make it even more musical, right? So let me hit play. You can see song jump is where that marker starts. And I'm just listening through. And I'm just, honestly, I use this almost as like I'm playing a piano in this case. And there's honestly, like with that, we can honestly make a nice little, our own loop with that, our own little track. So what I would do, I would drag it into the playlist. I can see each of the markers. So every 4 bars is making a marker. So that way I know, I'm like, okay, especially whenever I'm moving things along, because I'll try to stay within that beat. Makes it just easier for chopping. So I would just kind of just go through and I would listen to it back and just play with it, you know, and I would align things up to, again, give it that musicality that I want. So let's drag in one of my favorite things to using granular synthesis is pads. I love using pads because, again, what I said earlier, it's very thick. They're just long, drawn out notes, chords, and sometimes they'll have changes, and it makes it easier to make something completely brand new with that. So I'm gonna type in pad loop, right? And just kind of listen through. I'm just listening for a vibe. Honestly, that fits really well. And they're typically louder, right? And then Edison, I'm gonna go ahead and hit record on Edison. boom, boom, and then I'm just gonna just play with it. Just play around, as if you would with any like piano, drums, MIDI, right? All right, so I really like that. So honestly, with that vibe, I'm gonna drag that in. I'm gonna delete or mute what we did there. I'm listening to this back. And I already kind of have a good vibe off of kind of what we've recreated from that chord loop, right? Shout out Mr. Carmack for that loop. I don't know him personally, but maybe one day, who knows? But anyway, so I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna chop out those certain segments to make a nice little 8-bar loop, and then we'll add some effects on it. It's right there, I don't want that, but I want this. You know, and I'm just kind of just playing, just listening through what do I want it to do based off of what I was playing, and I can see each of those markers so I know roughly in time what I was doing. Right here, I'm gonna move that over here. I'm trying to make it a little bit more musical, and honestly, just I feel like the more chops I do, it just gives it more character. So just have fun with it. I put on the metronome, that way whenever I'm making my chops and my adjustments, I'm still keeping it in time and keeping it musical. Again, just less headaches down the road, right? So right here, I want it to change. I want this to be right there, and I'll drag this here and see kind of how it plays. That's perfect. And then right here, I know there was another segment that was towards the latter half of that recording, and I'm pretty sure it was this. So let's see. I'm gonna hit Alt click. Yeah. Look at that. That's, I feel like, a nice solid, what I'm gonna call a dry loop. That's perfect for what I want to do with it. So I'll go ahead and line those all up. Now we have a nice little 8-bar loop. Well, now with this, we can just bounce it out, consolidate it, save some CPU. Now we have a consolidated track that is in time. Right, now I'm gonna send this to a whole new track, and now let's add some effects. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a little bit of fun. So I'm gonna hit play, turn off the metronome. I love adding reverb. Comes to life. Bring down the mix. Just play it. You know, music is about, you know, creating art. Just creating art at the end of the day, right? Have fun with it. If you guys want to see me make more stuff like that, like this video. Like this video. That way I know you guys want to see more of me kind of experimenting and creating with granular synthesizers. Add a little RC20. And also, say maybe you're having trouble, really, you have your perfect loop, but maybe you don't know what tempo it is, and maybe you don't know how to figure out how to get that tempo by stretching it. There's one little cheat code I like to do sometimes. It gives a little bit different element. If you have LFO tool, or honestly, if you can even make your own volume automation to do the same type of ducking. There's different types of ways, but essentially I'm gonna use volume ducking that is going to be on beat. Just give it that same type of musical element, and it's gonna make it feel like as if everything's on time. In my opinion, of course. Maybe this won't work for everything, But for 9 times out of the use cases scenarios that I've done it with, I like it. Smooth it out. Might add a little distortion. So now we already have something coming to life. Now I'm gonna add some more drums. I'm gonna mute the original track or else it'll just layer over top that we had with that MIDI. I'm gonna find a nice kick drum. 4 to the floor. That is not 4 to the floor. You can already feel how things are kind of coming to life. Bringing that to life, you know what I'm saying? Might a little clap. Just to kind of seal this in a little bit more, right? I can't leave it that undone, right? You know what I'm saying? The clap's very dry, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little reverb just for my sanity. I use free to reverb too on it. Just quick little tweaks. Just fill in that space. Nice in the background, just fit that vibe we already have. More like a lo-fi thing, right? Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. See you guys next time. Later.